Well, hey there again, friend. Now that I have a grand total of 7 subscribers, I thought I'd better up my game and actually script these videos. You know, something that any decent content creator already does. Anyway, today I wanted to talk about taking risks. I don't mean like driving over the speed limit or robbing a bank. Actually, is that taking a risk or is that just breaking the law? I mean artistic risks. It's very easy to find your comfort zone, build a fort, and just stay there. And I think it's good to have a comfort zone, don't get me wrong. Like, if I'm having art block, a lot of the time I just like to come back to my comfort zone and draw things I find easy or appealing, because then I feel like I'm doing something right when I feel like I can't get anything right. That said, there are times when it's great to spread your wings and branch out a bit. I think this piece I'm working on here actually started out as a comfort zone kind of piece. I'd had art block for a week or two before that, so I just wanted to draw Sabine. That's the woman I'm drawing, by the way. She's a newish character. Everyone say hi, Sabine. Maybe I'll do an OC introduction series at some point. I know a lot of people do that, and I like watching them, so hopefully you will too. Anyway, I was watching Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 when I was drawing this, and I was admiring Narcissa Malfoy and thinking how awesome it was to have such a strong mother character. I mean, now obviously there's also Lily Potter, the ultimate strong mother character in Harry Potter series. Anyway, so I was like, yeah, I feel inspired to draw a strong motherly character. If you look back at my old videos, this is not a promo, I swear. You don't have to go watch them, but you know, all if you want to, yeah. You'll see that I just generally love to draw strong female characters. So yeah, firmly in my comfort zone. So when it came to colouring this, I really wanted to push the boat out a bit. I'm really bad at focusing on things like colour theory and composition, you know, things that normal artists just do because that's the basics of drawing. I still consider myself to be a beginner, so for me this was stepping out of my comfort zone, but it's also a really important step out of my comfort zone. I wanted the colours to reflect her mood and the atmosphere, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go for really muted tones, which I don't do enough. I think I'm always kind of scared that a muted colour palette will somehow make the piece look boring. You shouldn't have to rely on a colour palette to carry the piece. You should, I mean, it's good if your artwork or your sketch can stand alone before you add anything else to it. What I'm learning is that if your composition and theme of the piece are both really strong, you shouldn't have to rely on a colour palette to carry the piece. Another thing I did that I would usually be really hesitant about was the varied light source, which you can't see yet, but which is coming up. And it's in the form of the spell or magic or whatever is coming out of her wand. Since there's no other light source in this, I was like, well, that's gonna have to be my light source then. So I was like, okay, that's gonna change where the lighting and shadow will fall. As you can see, I'm working on it now. And I was like, I've never done that before. So that was challenging on its own. I know I didn't nail the lighting and shading by any means, but I'm actually really pleased with it since this was one of my first attempts at a varied light source. So finally I finished colouring Sabine and adding the magic, and it looked really bare. Now, backgrounds are not my forte yet, as you may have noticed. I did have some drawing inks that I bought years ago, but I haven't used too much because I'm lazy. But I thought it would look really striking and create a real atmosphere for the background, so I went for it. And even though I was really nervous and terrified that I was going to ruin the entire piece, I think it actually made the drawing pop in the end. Is that the right word? Am I using that properly? I guess what I'm trying to get at is that while it might feel easier and safer in the comfort zone, it's really important to take risks and try new things, especially if you want to improve your art. If you're not really sure where to start, there are a few things you could try. I would highly recommend trying out a different drawing material, like I kind of did with drawing ink, Or try paints or markers if you have them readily available. Just try a different brand even. Sometimes that can make a real difference. I know it can be really daunting trying out something new, but it's also really fun. And if you mess up or it doesn't look great, it's not really the end of the world, particularly if you don't have much experience with that material. Even if you think it looks awful, you can just kind of say, oh hey, I've never used this before, but hey, that was my first attempt or my second attempt or whatever. You don't have to beat yourself up about it. You can also look up YouTube videos and tutorials of how to use a specific material. That's also a really handy way. If you don't want to just go in straight away with a material you haven't used before, yeah, look up some tutorials and then just try out some of the techniques that people suggest. And even if it doesn't look amazing, again, you might surprise yourself. I don't really know if you can tell now that this footage is sped up, but I hesitated a lot over both the colouring and painting with the drawing ink at the end. I just kind of waver over the paper at some point, too scared to put the pencil or the marker or the paintbrush to the paper. And I wanted to leave some of those bits in, just a few of them, just so you could see that I wasn't 100% sure what I was doing, but I wanted to go for it at the same time. I was so nervous about running this piece. I did scan it into my computer before I went ahead though, just in case it did go horribly wrong. At least I would have a copy and I could start the colouring process again at least. I just want to say as well though, I am a huge believer in sharing your mistakes too. I feel like with things like social media so prevalent now, it's super easy to just post what you want people to see, not just with your artwork, but with life in general. And you want to put across this really perfect image and that you never make mistakes or you never create work that you don't like. But I think if we all just held our hands up and said, hey, I drew a thing today, not too proud of it, but hey, I learned something, then it puts less pressure on all of us to be perfect. Odds are, even if you don't like something about a piece, someone else will. So at least then, even if you don't like a piece, someone else is getting something good out of it. Does this make sense? I'll just talk a little bit about the materials I use now. So I went in initially with markers, as you've already seen, just to get the base colours down. I recently bought some new markers as well, like a set of grey tones. So I used that for base colour of this. They're pro markers, by the way. Then what I'm doing right now is going in and shading and doing some extra lighting techniques with my Prismacolor pencils. I can't remember if I've used those on this channel before. I bought them last year for my birthday. I wanted them for ages. They're really good. I mean, they should be, they're quite expensive, but yeah, to be honest, I used Crayola coloring pencils and Faber-Castells before this, and you can get really good results with those too. You don't have to have Prismacolors. I just wanted to upgrade because I've been using the other materials for so long, so yeah, I don't feel like you can't get good results with some of the cheaper brands. The drawing ink that I'm using, I believe, is Winsor & Newton drawing ink. I don't actually have any of the inks to hand, which is probably a bad idea, but I'm pretty sure it's Winsor & Newton drawing inks. I bought them in a set back in 2016. I'm just doing a wash of water over the paper first. I know nothing about watercolours and things, but I saw a lot of watercolour artists doing this, so I did that with the inks and hoped for the best, just so that I had a little bit of contrast between the really dark edges and just getting a little bit paler as I came in closer to the picture. I wanted it to look like her magic was dispersing the darkness. Is that the right word? Dispersing? Probably. That sounds about right. So yeah, in places, I just to get a lighter, I had one paintbrush for washing water over the top, and then I had a paintbrush for ink. As I got further in, I started to dab the paintbrush with ink over the paintbrush with water, just to get that kind of like mid-range of darkness to lightness. Well, I can't. Where? What are words? Just to get that mid-tone, I suppose. Anyway, I don't really have much else to add, to be honest, so I think it's time to wrap this commentary up. I hope this video was helpful to someone. I know the commentary was a bit different, but I wanted to try and actually talk about something helpful, rather than just rambling about my process. I mean, I did that too, so, you know. If you like that bit, you're not missing out on anything. You can find all of the materials I used in the description anyway, so if you can't understand me because I talk too fast or I'm mumbling, I do tend to mumble quite a lot, then they're in there and you can just like grab that and Google that, put it into Amazon, whatever, if you want to look something up. I would love to hear if anyone has their own tips for stepping out of your comfort zone art-wise. I feel like I could do a whole video on stuff like that. That would be interesting, maybe. Have you ever tried something that's gone horribly wrong? Or have you found a cool new technique by just trying something different? It'd be really cool to hear what other people do, because I'm always looking for advice too. I'm still a beginner. But thank you very much for watching. Hopefully I can get a few more videos up this year. I have an achievable goal of uploading at least 4 videos to this YouTube channel this year, and this is my second, so we're not doing too badly. But thank you very much for watching. Bye!